Hello everybody, this is Crowbar Animation, and the last time we did one of these videos, you all really seemed to enjoy it, so I decided to do another one today. So today's video is going to be 5 more tips for doing dinosaur stop motion animations. Number 5, the jaws of the dinosaur. So you're probably wondering what I mean by the jaws, but let me give you an example. Let's say you're about to do a shot where a dinosaur is doing like a super loud roar. So you're going to have to open up your dinosaur's mouth enough to where it makes it look like it's actually doing that roar. Because if your dinosaur's mouth is barely open yet a giant sound is coming out, then it doesn't look realistic. It would basically be like if we took this figure here and barely opened its mouth, but we added a super loud T-Rex roar in the background. Number 4, making the dinosaur look more alive by moving all of its body parts. So basically there are some animators out there who basically just open and close the mouth of the dinosaur, and that's really the only part of the figure they move. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because sometimes that might be the only movable part of the figure. But when you have a really posable figure and you're just opening and closing the mouth of it, you're missing out on so much potential to make it look more realistic. You want to make the most out of the arms, the legs, the neck. An example would be if you had a T-Rex on screen, you could have it scratch the side of its neck with its arms. So it just makes it look more alive when you have it using all of its body parts. Number 3, using expressions on your dinosaurs. So most of you are probably wondering, how in the world would you use expressions on a dinosaur? Well, it's probably not what you're thinking, but let me show you. So an example of what I mean by expressions would be in Generation G, when the T-Rex gets weak from fighting the Giganotosaurus. Its eye is half closed, which is my way of showing that it's getting weak and tired. So that's what I mean by expressions, like kind of like signs of how the dinosaur is feeling. Or for instance, if a dinosaur was sleeping, another example of an expression would be, well, its eyes being filled in because it's asleep and its eyes are closed. Number 2, adding set props to your set. And when I say set props, I mean anything like trees, bushes, rocks, anything like that. And recently I got my hands on some amazing set props. And if I'm being honest, it makes my animations more realistic. So if you had some set props like some trees or rocks in the background of your film, I really think it can make it look really nice and realistic. Number 1, how to add flesh into your animation. So sometimes I use flesh for my animations, or I use other things to represent flesh, especially when the dinosaur is eating another dinosaur. So there are 2 main things that I use for flesh or blood. So there are 2 main ways I see animators add flesh or blood to their animation, and the first one being using something like red Play-Doh or red clay. Most of the time what I usually use for flesh is pieces of a red balloon, because in my opinion it just looks more realistic. I'm sure some of you think otherwise, but I just usually use red balloons or pieces of a red balloon for flesh. And those were 5 more tips for doing stop motion animation with dinosaur figures. And before I go, I just want to say thank you guys so much for getting me past 1,200 subscribers. It means a lot for me, and thank you everybody for the support. Anyway, that's all for now. This is Crowbar Animation, and have a great day.